Wealth Warrior. Welcome to New Year's Eve, December 30th, 2020. We have one day left after this one to kick 2020 to the curb. And as I've been mentioning and talking about and blogging about and podcasting about and everything else, I have a very specific system for choosing my focus word for each year. And I started this last year and it worked out extremely well. And I thought, gosh, I'm just going to keep the pace of this going. So what I've been doing for the last probably 6 weeks to 2 months is I just cut up a bunch of, oops, there they all went. I just cut up a bunch of little slips of paper and just had them in a jar. This is my jar with a pen. And not every single day, but if the mood would strike me and a certain word came to mind, maybe it's one of those that I heard repetitively or just kept coming into my brain, I would write it down on a slip of paper and I would drop it in here. Now, like I say, not every single day. Some of the words are in here multiple times. Some words are only in here one time, but I decided to do this last year when I was struggling to force a focus word. And so often in the past, I've chosen a focus word, and then what do I do with it? Am I really using it day in and day out in my life and in my business? Because everything that we do ideally should be from a fully present, aware state of mind and very intentional in that we do it. And so I really wanted to have a focus word that I could measure everything up against, that I could run through my mind if I was getting stuck in negative thinking or struggling in my business or struggling in a relationship. I could use that word to really dial in on what it was I most wanted to accomplish out of whatever it was that I was dealing with, right? So I really like this way of doing it because I feel like ultimately, I feel there are no right or wrong choices. There's really only a right choice, okay? And I really felt like I wanted to be guided to the word instead of trying to force it because it sounded cool or it sounded trendy. And another way that I talk about my journaling and my thought downloads, and I'm almost done with this. This is my tail end of my journal, just a small one, because I finished up my one I started the year with, but I'll finish with this. So I do my daily thought downloads. I weigh in on what is on my mind, what's going on, and I can journal about that. And very often a word will come to me. Now we'll see. I think what I might do this year is just start it at the very beginning of the year, just as words come to mind, but we'll see. So it's kind of funny. I can't tell you what my words were prior to 2018. So 2018, 2019, 2020, I know the word because I either chose it or it chose me intentionally. So in 2018, my word was systemize. I don't even know if that's a real word, but that's the word that I picked because I had spent 2017, I was new in Scottsdale, Arizona. I ran around networking and doing all these things to build my business, but I had nothing really in place systematically to manage my business and my life really in an effective way. I just felt like I was running around with my hair on fire and, putting out fires. So in 2018, I really systemized my life and my business. What are those systems that make my life run more effectively? What are those systems in my business that make my business run more effectively? So I really got intentional with that. And I set all that up in 2018. I spent a lot of very focused time working on the systems in my business. Then in 2019, my word was mastering practice. Because what I realized was once I put these systems in place, what was going to make my business run was mastering the practice of using the systems. What are the practices that are in place that make my business soar, that make my relationship soar, that make my life more simple and kind of ease and flow versus hustle and grind? So that was really it. And then last year for 2020, I let the universe guide me, and the word that I came up with was accomplished. Now, if you watched that video live with me last year, 1 year ago today, or you can go back in the archives of Street Smart Wealth School and find it, you'll note that when I drew that word, I was kind of like, oh, not really the word I was anticipating, not really the word that I was hoping for, and I had no clue what to do with it. And as it turns out, it's absolutely the best word that I could have been given by the universe or by myself, however you want to look at it, because I used that word to measure all of 2020 up against. And my goal every morning was to decide what I was going to do in that day to feel accomplished at the end of the day. And then at the end of the day, I would look back on the hours that I spent and say, am I accomplished? And of course, I have my 5 F areas, my 5 favorite F words. which is faith, family and friends, fun, fitness, and finance. And everything falls under one of those buckets or multiple buckets in my life. So I was able to measure everything up against that. And I feel like with everything that happened with the pandemic and all that we went through in 2020, which, let's be real, was a lot. Everything that we went through in 2020 really, I feel like, set me up on a good pace to move into 2021 in a good way. And using that word accomplished was a big part of it. Because I was intentional and started my day with that word and ended my day with that word, it stopped me from being in a lot of the muck and the mud of what 2021 could have, or 2020 could have brought to me personally. I know it did a lot of people, but I just really tried to focus on what am I in control of and what am I not in control of, and how can I start the day accomplished, how can I end the day accomplished, and ultimately achieve what it is most that I want in my life. So with that, that's how I chose those words. Now, if you've chosen your focus word, I would love for you to leave it in the comments below. I would love to know what that word is so we can talk about it a little bit. And I'd love to know why you chose that particular word if you have. So I am super excited. I'm just going to reach in here and stir it all around. I put 3 new words in today, which was control, which if I draw that, I'll tell you what it is. I put in declutter and consume, which I'll tell you what that one is. And then the last one was certainty. So let's just see what I'm going to get. All right, here it is. Drum roll, please. My word for 2021 is resilience. Resilience. Good. I got to be honest, that's one of the words I was hoping for. It's in there multiple times, but my word last year, accomplished, was not in there. So resilience is the word, and I look forward to hearing what your word is. Now, don't forget to join me. I'm going to try to go live here on Facebook, but if you go to streetsmartwealth.com/year, coming up in about an hour and a half, I'm doing my live workshop planning, okay? The success planning for 2021. You'll get this guide. It's all free, but would love to have you join me there. And let's really get set intentionally to make 2021 far superior to what 2020 was, and ultimately close that year saying, this was my best year ever. All right, I'll see you shortly. Have a great day.